it was definitely a different conversation than let's put on a real estate show, but we adapted and did what we had to do in order to bring everybody together. So I want to thank not only our sponsors, but every single person that contributed to this event. One of the biggest things that we faced up front with everything that happened with that thing called Fire Festival was, are you guys having another Fire Festival? And we had to prove not only to everybody else and ourselves that this is the real deal, this is a real deal event. So we did our best to put everybody in the room together, and our sponsors, really, we couldn't have done it without you guys. So thank you very much. So I'm going to tell you about my story, and then we're going to get into our fun panel with some of the best people I know that I've recruited over the past 10 years while being in the mortgage business since age 20. What I can tell you is that it's very hard to find good people, and it's very hard to find good, reliable, consistent people. These people make doing business that much better. So when you think of mortgage people, you probably think of somebody who's 60 plus years old, sitting down in an office behind a desk, probably overweight, losing hair. I'm 32, right? So I'm the opposite of what you usually think of in the mortgage business. You also usually think of a mortgage person and say, how are they trying to rob me? Well, I also think the same thing when I deal with mortgage people. How are these mortgage people trying to rob me? So when I started in the business when I was 20, I always had to face an uphill battle. So on this slide right here, if we can go back to the presentation, I went from college to closer to mortgage quarterback over the last 11 years. And it didn't really start off the way that I envisioned it to, because I never saw myself being in the mortgage business. In 2005, I wound up going to Fordham University to play football. My goal was set to play in the NFL. Now, Joe says that you have to have balls, and if you look at me, you're like, you played football? You're 170 pounds soaking wet. I'm still in decent shape, but long story short, the reason why I made it to play Division I AA college football was because I went out there and I had balls. If you threw the ball up, I was going to catch it. If you needed somebody to go over the middle and get the first down, I was that guy. I wasn't the biggest, I wasn't the strongest, I wasn't the fastest, but I definitely left it all on the line and gave it 100% all the way around. These are the only two pictures that exist of me in a football uniform from college. The first one on the left is me standing on the sidelines. I now reference that to every single person that is here today that's not in real estate currently. So what does it mean to be on the sidelines? Typically, it means that you're watching someone else do something that you want to do. So is anybody in this room not in real estate currently that wants to get into real estate? Right? So you guys are on the sidelines. So our goal today is to try and get you into the game. After a coaching change after my freshman season, we had a nice evaluation meeting, and my coach flat out told me, you will never step on the field here and play. You are not my player. I'm going to play my players that are here on scholarship. So me being the person I am, if you know me, I accepted the challenge and wound up getting myself into a game as, not the kicker, believe it or not, but the placeholder. I was holding the ball for the kicker, right? But I got in the game, I did exactly what he told me I wouldn't be able to do. So as football obviously started deteriorating and things didn't go as I planned, I was in the Bronx. I used to walk home every day past this little blue house that is still covered by trees today. I realized that living in the football house, everyone was paying $600 a month in rent, and there were 9 bedrooms. So I was like, well, man, that's a lot of money. $5,400 a month in rental income. Maybe I can find a way to live rent-free. So I walked past this house every single day in the year 2007 to my football house where I paid $600 a month in rent. So the season had ended, and I was like, well, I have a suit and tie from traveling for football. Maybe I can go try and buy this property because there's a for sale sign on it. So I called the realtor every day for about 4 or 5 months straight. Never returned my phone call. So I'm like, well, house is for sale. Who the hell has a for sale sign on a house but doesn't want a buyer? Like, I'm going to buy this house. I said, you don't need income, you don't need credit, you don't need assets. I have no income, I have no credit, I have no assets. I could buy this house in 2007. So season ended, I put a suit and tie on, I drove all the way to the real estate office. And it turns out that the realtor told me the house was not for sale. So I'm like, well, what do you mean there's a for sale sign on it? She had said, well, honey, that house is a short sale. So I'm like, oh my God, a short sale. Like, how do I save myself here? So I interned at a mortgage bank early on, and I gave the girl my mortgage card, and she was like, oh, you do mortgages? She's like, we need a mortgage person. I'm like, all right, well, I guess, if you need a mortgage person, I can help you out. So she wound up giving me 2 leads that day. I don't think they ever closed, but that was the start to my mortgage career at age 20 in December 2000. Now, fast forward 3 months, I have spring boarding. Now, I'm going my, what would have been eligibility junior year, and it was a spring game. So I go into my coach's office the day before our spring game, and my coach says to me, hey, thanks for everything you do. You're really working hard. We really, tried to get you some opportunities, but you're cut. So now I'm like, well, what do you mean? I'm going to my junior year. Like, I just worked to get onto the field like you told me I wouldn't do. I'm running with the starters. Why are you not, going to give me the opportunity? He was like, you're not my player. We're in a rebuilding year. So we just won the Patriot League championship. We lost to Victor Cruz and UMass at the time. And I'm like, well, this is a complete screwball. You kind of threw like a monkey wrench into my life plans. So I went actually to the spring game the following day. I led the team in the game in receiving yards and touchdowns, and I walked up to the coach after the game. I said, hey, can you reconsider? He said, absolutely not. Our decision is final. So I'm like, well, what am I going to do with my life? I'm 21 years old now at this time. Might as well go into the mortgage business. So if you remember 2008, these are the headlines from 2008. Banking bust, credit crunch bailout, auto industry implosion, jobs were an issue, everyone's losing their jobs, gas prices were at an all-time high, the stock market was plummeting, we're in a recession, scandals going on left and right, and I'm this 21-year-old kid literally who just had his dreams crushed. So now I'm like, I don't know how bad things are, I'm just gonna go out and help people. So instantly I became known as the closer. Why? Because I worked 24/7. I built relationships with the best people in the industry, and I took everything I learned on the football field and applied it into the mortgage industry, which was collapsing. Now, again, if you asked anybody if they would have planned this route in life, every single person would have said no, okay? However, this is what my destiny was. This is what I'm here today to talk about, is basically just turning an opportunity that may have been lost and seeing the positive from it. I always said that I make a much better mortgage loan officer educator than I would have ever played in the NFL, right? So, again, I always tried to bring fun to the real estate business. Obviously in 2007, 8, 9, 10, when people were losing their homes, things weren't fun. Life was real. People didn't have jobs, didn't have income. Most people were losing everything that they had. And I really took it upon myself to try and make light of the situation and really truly go to the bottom to help everybody out. So after 18 months in the business, I'm miserable. I'm now 22 years old, and I'm like, I can't do this for the rest of my life. I've only been doing it for 18 months, and I made it, but now it's time to try and go back and play football. So in 6 months, from January 2009 to June 2009, I closed $16 million worth in business and made $118,000. Now, I'm not telling you that to impress you, because really that's not even impressive, okay? But what I can tell you is the market was the worst. I was 22 years old, and because I applied all my commitment, dedication, and focus into making a name for myself, in 6 months I was able to do what people hope to do in a year, okay? And it was literally the worst market in the world. That's why I was having to team up with people like Paul from Better Qualified to help my clients' credit scores get up, help people that were losing their homes try and stop the bleeding and find creative ways to help finance their property. So, again, the business deterred me away from doing it because it was too stressful, too scummy, miserable, no trust, and no peace of mind. And I knew at 22, like I can't do this for forever. So I ended up going to play college football, moved to Pennsylvania, and about 4 weeks of being there, I tore my rotator cuff and was like, oh, well, there goes my plan again. Now what am I gonna do? So I got a call one day, and I wound up going back to the Bronx to do my business, and it sucked me right back into the business I chose to never go back to at an early age. From there, we wound up opening up a Liberty Tax franchise. I bought my first property in 2010, and I started my first flip also in 2010. If you notice, it says a 4.5 family, whether it was a 4 family or a 5 family. So I always call it my 4.5 family that we bought, which turned out to be a 4 family, which we renovated to be a 5 family. At the time, I didn't have a team. I didn't know anybody. So what we would have made $100,000 on, I made no money on because the attorney never realized that it was actually a 4 family. So when we renovated it, it didn't have a certificate of occupancy. We renovated it as a 5 family. And then we had to not only redo the work, but then apply for an additional certificate of occupancy. So that's why it's super important to have a team. Then I decided that I was tired of commuting, so I decided to buy a building with my partner at the time. I lived under the Liberty tax sign, and then we opened up a Remax because I was tired of people asking me for kickbacks in the mortgage business, which I never did. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna bring the real live where you work concept into my life. I'm gonna live here, I'm gonna work here. The only problem was on Saturdays and Sunday mornings, I woke up to people knocking at my door asking if I could come pre-approve them, because I told everyone I lived in this building. So I definitely learned a lot. If you see all the way in the back of that picture there's a garage. That's where I made my private back office so people can stop knocking on my front door. They would just go into the back and knock in the garage. And early on, I did start to get noticed when I was about 23, 24 years old. I was 40 under 40, 3 times under 30 as the most influential mortgage people in the country. That was pretty cool because most people were 55 and 60 years old that I was going up against. So being a 25 to 30 year gap in between myself and them, I kind of brought a new twist into the business. I kind of brought technology into the business, and yes, it was an uphill battle because I call most people that are in the mortgage business for 25 plus years dinosaurs. So I've been trying to adapt the dinosaurs so they don't go extinct for my entire 11-year existence. But again, listen, like anything else, technology does bring a twist into the overall business, such as like Quicken Loans. So I bounced around a lot. I went from a family business to a corporate business to another corporate business, and I'm the type of person that usually likes to get myself in trouble twice before I learn my lesson. So if you notice on here, I started somewhere, left, went back, started somewhere else, left, went back. I'm kind of like that guy who keeps going back to a bad relationship. So rather than learning my first time what not to do, I always like going back for reassurance. So no, if you don't learn anything, don't go back if you know it's not right. But I was always torn between the business and the people in the business. I always liked a lot of the people in the business, we just thought differently, different mindsets. So in early 2017, I decided I was never going to do mortgage loans anymore, and I was going to create an educational platform called the Mortgage Quarterback. It was a platform I created in order to target millennials and the younger audience to help prevent 2007 and 2008-like instances from happening again. I believe that implementing the proper education, the proper foundation, will help the younger generations really truly learn not only what to do, but what not to do, right? So as certain risky loans come back in the marketplace, I want to be able to sit here and tell everybody, hey, these are great options if you know what you're doing, but we'll take a more conservative approach to obviously, investing in buying in real estate. Sometimes the best deal is no deal. I did write a book called The Mortgage Playbook for Millennials. I believe that it's something that everyone in real estate should read, only because it sets the proper foundation and expectation. I don't want to sit here and tell you what to do, what not to do. I want to tell you what the facts are. So here's what we have. And then recently it was featured on a podcast called Stacking Benjamins and featured in Startup Beat. So now I want to go into our fun panel of some of the top professionals that I've met over the past decade. So in 2010, now I'm a Jersey guy. Is anybody here from the Bronx? Bronx guys at all? We got a couple Bronx people. So the Bronx operates a completely different animal. So I'm sitting at 23 years old in the Bronx, and I get this kid that calls me up, and I stored in my phone as Mike Webster Avenue. I'm like, all right. I stored everyone's name with like the property that they were looking to buy, so I knew when they called what I could reference.